So when it comes to Unity's new input system and you set up all your inputs, test them out, you might notice that sometimes when you perform input, which is placed in update, you might get this result. Huge amount of projectiles being shot, and we don't want that. And that's because we have set all the inputs as context started reader instead of performing it in update and checking if it was pressed last frame. So in this video I'm going to show you how to prevent loops on these type of inputs, these type of buttons. So I'm going to show you two methods how you can control all these input interactions. First method I'm going to show you is how to create a fire rate loop where we will be able to have a customizable loop. So at the top we're just going to create simple float, call it fire rate. We only need one float, and in here what we're going to do is just in the if statement we're going to say if fire rate is less or equal to 0, and below at the if statement we're just going to set fire rate to 0.2 float. You can create another float and replace it in here if you want to have it customizable in the inspector, but for now I'm just going to demonstrate a very simple function. Create another if statement and we're going to say if fire rate is more than 0, perform the countdown of the fire rate minus equal time dot delta time, and this function will allow us to have a fire rate. So I'm just going to comment out this function and we're going to test it. So now if you're going to hold space button, as you can see the fire rate is reduced and you can customize it any way you want. If you want to have a single shot button, so for example if you hold space but only one projectile shoots out, so just create a simple boolean shot was performed equals false, and in here we're going to say and shot was performed, and at the start we're going to say shot was performed equals true. Perform another if statement, say if input is not pressed, then we're gonna set to false, just like that. To reduce the need of this loop, just make sure to add if this was set to true, and of course just don't forget that this should not be performed. And this is what you should have. If the space is pressed and the shot was not performed, set performed to true, and at the end other if statement, if the button is not pressed and the shot was performed, then set it to false. Because if you don't have that in here, then this if statement will keep looping and set this shot performance to false. And the way to check that, we can add debug.log function. This code will prevent both if statements from looping. I'm holding space, but only one projectile is being shot out, and I have to spam space to shoot the projectile. And this is how you prevent the update loops. So if you have any questions, leave in the comments down below. I hope this video helped you in some form or way, and I'll see you in the next video.